Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come to you live from our comfy couch here in the Oscars Internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for September 25th, 2022, with your host, Spacebreaker2448, and Wrap It Up Salon.
Hi.
My sinuses have drained on me again because I was outside yesterday helping build some stairs. So, I'm gonna be miserable tomorrow.
Well, I mean, you're going to be at work tomorrow, so that's a given.
Well, okay, then more miserable than usual.
There you go.
But we do have Ace Attorney in, I guess, Geets, if you watched it this week, to talk about.
I have.
So how was the Geets?
They're cowards. They didn't pull the double trigger, but at the same time, it kind of works.
Yeah.
Also, I might be wrong.
About what?
Well, you know, we were figuring that everyone would have a 2-episode arc.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna run out of characters before that could actually happen to last up to Christmas break.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna actually end before then, and the episode before the Christmas break is gonna be the start of the second phase of the show, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's going to be true arcs, because we're not really getting an arc set up. This is more just a we're setting the characters up kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, yeah, it's definitely going to be done before we go on break.
Mm-hmm. I will say, I enjoyed Nago's fight scene. And I guess Boost amplifies the armed weapons.
I'm starting to wonder if base Geets is actually Magnum only, and Boost is a half upgrade that anyone can use. Because that seems
like
to be how the show's playing it.
Yeah.
And I say half upgrade because, let's be real, there's going to be an actual upgrade that hooks to both sides.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why everyone else's weapons, except for Magnum and Zombie, are little.
Mm-hmm. And weapons from previous shows.
I mean, that too. There's gonna be a reason for that, and it's more than likely gonna tie into our mid-season upgrade.
Yeah, because I believe...
Well, early season upgrade. I don't even think mid-season.
Yeah, we've now seen Claw and Chaineray in the previews. Chaineray is Chaineray from Forza, literally. And then Claw, it's Serval Tiger's claws? Like, specifically those claws.
Huh.
Which I'm surprised, because it wasn't the claws I was expecting. I was expecting the claw from Forza.
Fair.
Or the claw from Gowon from Zenkaiger. I was not expecting several tiger's claws.
Although I guess it makes sense.
Also, based off the episode preview, Nago is the one that's using claw next week, which... Alright, sure.
Oh, we're gonna go hard in on all of this. Just to probably do a dick move and make her not be the one to win it.
They put in a lot of work to make us like her this week. And I'm gonna be sad when they fuck it up in the end.
Oh, and I know they will.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I can say this. This feels like the first time that Ace hasn't just been the complete and total jerk that he has been.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, it's also setting up the thing that I think will happen. Because he's realizing if we work together, we might can do something.
Mm-hmm.
I think he knows there's someone up above pulling strings, and that is the end goal like you thought.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he hasn't ever had a group that he was fine with working with others.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I get the funny feeling that this first one's going to be over quick. And he's tested the waters enough to actually change the game now.
Mm-hmm.
Because this week, I feel like set that one in motion.
Mm-hmm. This might just be my personal interpretation of her desire, but her desire for true love is not a romantic true love. It's just I would like not shitty people in my life, please. Since her mom's terrible.
Yeah. But at the same time, I wonder, can those desires be changed? Like, not full on changed, but changed as far as meaning goes.
Yeah.
Because I get the feeling that a lot of them are going to be vague enough to be able to be twisted.
Mm-hmm.
Hers being one.
Yeah.
Because in theory, hers could potentially mean that we see our core 3 persist throughout the remainder of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of those I'm like, I'm fine with that, but are they all going to be this vague that it could work out to play the show out? Or are we going to have one of them that is actually just so cut and dry that there's no workaround with it? Also, we have zero ideas what Ace's desire is for this one.
Yep.
For a main rider, he is super taking the back seat.
I feel like it's on purpose.
Oh, I know it has to be. But it is like, we're not even getting hints to it. So that's kind of not even making anyone want to root for him to win it either.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I get the feeling the next two-parter might show us more of that. Seeing as how we're having it focused on our kissing contest that is going on.
Yep, and Mary is the next one to go because he's paired with Bear the Third. Which, weirdly enough, this bear is supposed to stick around because they get a rise buckle of their own next month. This is the bear that is meant to stay. Because I think according to the toy scans and stuff, they're supposed to get, for toy information and stuff, they're supposed to get the monster rise buckle, like, next month. So, they're sticking around. But if so, who the fuck are they?
Huh.
Like, legitimately, who the fuck is this? Because it's not anyone in our core cast, because it seems to be a tag team fight of some kind, or tag team mission next week. So everybody's paired up. So Buffa and Tycoon are paired up, Geets and Nago are paired up, which leaves Mary paired up with our new Punk Jack rider. For reference, that is his name. So, who is Punk Jack? I've seen speculation that they're an NPC, but like, if they're an NPC, what the fuck's happening? Did they get to stick around past this point?
Unless for next week it's an NPC and we're ending the first one way early.
Maybe?
Because if we end the first Grand Prix really early, then that would make sense. Because I get the feeling that we're probably going to have, out of the group we started with, 4 riders that are just going to persist through the show.
And it's the 4 that, you know, all have unique details on them?
Yeah.
Which I'd like to point out, in the one shot we have of Punk Jack, he has a unique detail on his entry form too.
Hence why I'm thinking this first batch is going to be a quick kind of deal.
Yeah.
Because then they could introduce someone else that could persist through the remainder of the show in the next Grand Prix kind of deal. I feel like my idea of 3 Grand Prix is probably going to be true, but at the same time I could see them just doing this to soft reset the characters until we have the, or however many they want.
Yeah.
Or utilize it to introduce new riders along the way too.
Because the show's got to have a lot of riders in it.
Well, I mean, it's always kind of hard to add riders to a show, because you've got to make sure it fits into the plot. This time they've actually gotten a way to just write riders into the show, and it doesn't really matter about the plot.
Yep, and then immediately write them out so we don't have to spend money on them anymore.
Or make them so similar to others that way they can reuse footage. Because I'm waiting on that to happen. You know I'm not wrong on that either.
Yeah. Yeah, Geats continues to be good. I am happy. I know you probably haven't watched any of it, but Futopia continues to be good as well. I'm enjoying it. I don't know how many episodes. Yeah, I don't know how many episodes it's got left at this point, but they just wrapped up their third case essentially, and it's still good. I'm still enjoying it. So, hooray! But I guess anything else before we get to Ace Attorney for the week?
No.
All right, then. It is 30 through 34 this week. It is one of our filler episodes in Recipe for Turnabout. Anything going into this for? Other than I really summed down the last episode, maybe, or I skipped shit.
I can't really think of anything. I freaking have apparently started digging the intro song a lot more now.
Oh, this current one?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. It's like the lyrics are a little nonsense, I think, but it's got a good beat to it, and I dig that the most. I wonder how you'll feel about the last one, because the last one I don't think is as good as this one. Visually, it's also a bit less nonsense, but God, do I think the openings of the Ace Attorney Season 2 are just nonsense looking? They make no sense.
Unfair.
But shall we get rolling then?
I guess so.
All right, we're going to kick off episode 30, Sound the Turnabout Melody. So we get to see a commercial for Right & Co. that Maya has directed, because of course she did. Phoenix is the samurai attorney. It's goofy and on par with what I would expect out of the pair of them. Phoenix isn't really into it, but Maya's like, no, another take. You need to put more into it. But that's put on hold for lunch, which leads us to the two of them having noodles and Phoenix being like, no, I don't want to do this commercial anymore. It's dumb. But then we get the Signal Samurai theme in the background on the radio, and that leads us to our flashback story for this episode, because it's the filler flashback story for this season. So we check in with Phoenix and Larry in high school? Middle school, one of those two. 3 years after Miles's dad died, essentially. Somewhere in there. Phoenix is finding about the newest sensation, which is the pocket radio. That should date all of this. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking like, an MP3 player and all that. No, radio ass, just straight up a radio in your pocket. But yeah, we see that for a little bit before we check in with Miles and baby Francesca, who is dressing up Missile in outfits to make Miles smile, because Francesca is not a bit garbage at this point in life. She is just small child. And it's nice to see that the two of them actually had a good relationship before whatever happened afterwards, I guess. We also get a peek at, I guess, Signal Samurai's sequel series or the next show, Rainbow Samurai, which looks so.
I mean, to be fair, if a lot of the samurai stuff wasn't a blatant ripoff of other toku, then this clearly is Sentai. Come on.
They're all multicolored, but damn, the suits are so cheap. They look so cheap. It's just a one color suit with a letter on the helmet. And it's just the colors of the rainbow, and that's it. Like, damn. This is some 80s ass 80s. We've got no budget. Do whatever we can kind of deal. But yeah, we get a peek of that before Manfred comes home, and then we follow him to late that night where he's planning to ship Miles off to an orphanage because he ain't gonna deal with him. So, boo. Next day, as Phoenix is listening to Larry's radio, he gets an idea when the radio DJ says, "Hey, we take requests for songs." So Phoenix writes in a request. We also see Miles see Manfred in action in the courtroom as he gets a guilty verdict for whatever case he was doing that day. And then to the later, where Francesca wants to pick up this cat doll that's in a red dress because Miles wears red. Also, there's a cat in a blue dress because
there has to be the red and blue.
Yeah. It is an Ace Attorney unless the two of them are in red and blue. But Missile runs away, so Miles has to give chase. And as he's chasing Missile down, he hears on the radio that there's another missing Pomeranian and a $5,000 reward to return them. He also then hears the Signal Samurai theme and hoping Miles that's into him for years. I thought that was cute. But Miles finds Missile and the missing Pomeranian. It's called Napalm because I have no idea. Someone was in a mood when they named this Pomeranian.
Someone was destructive.
Mm-hmm. But that's when one Goldie Gerwitz, aka Harami Jorusu, shows up claiming to be Napalm's owner. The dog is hostile to her. She does convince Miles to start to walk away with Napalm, but Miles just goes, "Oh, no, no, you're not the owner," because she starts humming the Signal Samurai theme. And he's like, "Oh, no, you heard that on the radio. You're here to get the reward. Put the dog down." So he just breaks her. Manfred and Fran actually see all this, but they don't get involved until after Miles is done. So Manfred would be like, "Walk away or I will put your ass in jail for something." Which I firmly believe Manfred would find a way.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of his thing.
Mm-hmm. So she leaves. Miles decides that he's going to donate the reward to... Is it an animal shelter? I don't think they said what it was. But it was some group taking donations to help lost dogs. And I figured it was just an animal shelter of some kind.
I'm pretty sure he said that.
Okay. I might have missed them saying it was a shelter. But yeah, Miles decides to do that because Miles is a good guy. Manfred decides to cancel the arrangements and takes Miles under his wing to teach him the ways of prosecuting. And later on, after the episode, in the end credits, we see the commercial get posted to not YouTube. She's in America, where he is currently, I guess, learning about law in America. And he gives the video a like, because of course he does. And that is our filler episode. How'd you feel about it?
It was pretty good, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Nice kind of seeing a little more creativeness on their side of it.
Yes, it's so few and far between at times.
Yeah.
I say this knowing full well what we're gonna hit next week.
Also, just gonna put it out there, I forgot about the next case. Oh my god.
Yeah, Recipe for Turnabout is the mid case of 3, aka the case that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah. Which is probably very fitting that it's this early.
Except for one plot point that has nothing to do with the case. Literally, a one singular plot point. And it has nothing to do with the case itself, really. But, shall we get into it then?
I guess so.
Alright, we kick off with episode 31, Recipe for Turnabout, First Trial. So, Maggie has found herself being represented by a fake Phoenix Wright in a trial for murder. And she has been declared guilty because no one believes her when she says that someone murdered some guy across from him in a restaurant by putting poison powder in his coffee, and he drank it and died. So, well, that's a good start. At the office, Gumshoe barges in as they're writing thank you cards for the end of the year, saying that Phoenix needs to make amends for botching a trial. And that's when Phoenix and Maya find out, oh no, a fake Phoenix Wright did a bad. We gotta go fix it. So they've taken on the case. They go talk to Maggie, and she fills them in on how she was accused for murdering one Glenn Elg, aka Taco Oka, at a restaurant she works at now because she quit the police force on the last case she was involved. She saw someone drop some poison in his drink and then he died. She then proceeded to pass out afterwards because that's what you do to get Ace Attorney cases to work. Otherwise, none of this would have happened. But the bottle of poison was found in her apron, so that's bad. Testified that the guy was alone. So, yeah, Maggie's kind of on the hook for all of this. Also, the guy had some CD marked MC something or another. That'll be important later. So our duo head to the restaurant. They go talk to Jean Armstrong, aka Kaoru Honodo. He's the chef. I believe I spelled chef wrong in the notes. Yes, I did. Fantastic.
Good one.
He gives his side of the story saying, you know, guy was alone. He's listening to the radio. He found he won the lottery, got a bunch of money. I forgot the exact amount. It's a bunch of money. It's like a 5-digit number. He also had a bag from a pharmacy showing that he had meds for something. But we don't know what those meds were. That takes us to the trial. As Godot is on prosecution, he lays out the whole case for us. Phoenix is immediately in the corner because of all the evidence and stuff, especially the apron with the red stain on it. that Godot doesn't notice because he apparently can't see the red stain. That's important for the end of this show. Remember that. You probably won't, but remember that. That's going to be important. But the red stain is ketchup, so that goes nowhere. The meds are brought up, and they've already been investigated. They were for a busted eardrum the victim had from the day before. But Gumshoe brings in Victor Kudo, aka Shohei Igarashi, to give his testimony. He IDs Maggie as the waitress, but only from behind because he was only paying attention to the uniform, shall we say. And pretty much everything, below the waist, because he's a pervy old man. So, no firm ID on Maggie, and with the apron brought up, and him not noticing it, it seems like it's a bit questionable if Maggie was there at all. Especially when he also said that he was listening to the radio in the ear with his busted eardrum, meaning he couldn't hear the radio. So, the fuck? But this gives Phoenix another day to investigate. Hooray. Run across a very angry person in his pink scooter, who runs off when Maya knows, hey, you look kind of like Phoenix. Would you be fake Phoenix? Or whatever the dub, or whatever the subtitles had it as, I forget. I want to say it's Phoenix backwards as 2 words. It's like Nixvik. Did you take note of that at all? Tommy, you there? Hello? I think I lost Tommy. I might have been the only one tired. Well, I'd keep on with the recap for a bit. Yeah. So, that ends our first episode. So we'll take it to the second part with episode 32. Maya's working at the restaurant because the chief complimented her, and Maya said yes. That's about it. So, she gets Phoenix to order some food. We find out it's garbage. They also run into Gumshoe, who's there, and he's upset that Maggie's in jail and he can't help her because Maggie was more or less his apprentice. They end up in the kitchen. They find a bottle that might end up being the meds. So Gumshoe leaves to go check it. Outside, Jean is hassled by a girl that we saw when the pair entered the restaurant before. And she's hassling Jean for money, and she leaves. We then follow the pair to a local park where Vic is there. Felix tries to get Maya to get Vic to talk. Doesn't work. Mia has to tag in to get Vic to talk. And we find out that the time frame of his arrival at the restaurant was later than the lottery show, which puts into question what he saw to start with. We also find out that John is in debt to a Tinder lender ran by one Fidelio Tigre, aka Tornosuke Shibakuzo. And he's in debt hard. So they had the Tinder lender to investigate. They meet up with one Viola Cataverni, aka Arimi Shikabane. She works there. She gives a quick introduction before leaving, so Maya and Phoenix can investigate. They find the MC Bomber CD, along with a fake attorney badge on a blue jacket, meaning Ferdio was the fake attorney and he has something to do with this case. They also find a bill for a car wreck that is astronomically high, because it's related to a mob group, because of course it is. That's when Furio arrives, berates the pair, but Viola comes in and calms them down because the two are in love. So our pair get to leave. They head down to the precinct. Gumshoe fills them in on who Viola is. She's the granddaughter of the mob boss. That is the head of the mob that's connected to the car accident. And she was in the accident. It almost killed her. We also found out that the CD is a computer virus worth millions. He ends up getting them a lunch for Maggie before they head to the center and talk to her. But elsewhere, we check in with Viola real quick as she overhears a video not wanting to deal with Viola at all because of the situation the two are involved in. But back to our pair. They give the lunch to Maggie. She declines because it came from Gumshoe and she's mad at him at the moment. So Maya takes it and eats it. Later on, the pair go to meet with Viola, reveal more or less that Furio was the one responsible for the car accident to start with, and he's in debt to her grandfather, and more or less is playing nice to her because I'm in debt with you and I need to be nice. So their whole relationship is a sham. So upset about all this and also kind of knowing that is the case, she gives them her medical papers on the accident, and those papers have a note on the back. That's important for later. And as they leave, they run into Furio, who tries to intercept them and take the papers, but Gumshoe shows up, makes the save, and our pair run off to court to settle this. Yeah. So that takes us to our last episode, episode 33. Phoenix is prepping for the trial when Gumshoe drops by with results. It is the meds, but it has unknown fingerprints on it, so he's going to go get the results for that. He also gives them a lunch for Mikey for later. In court, Jean is called to the stand, and Phoenix more or less just runs him through on his testimony and stuff, showing that he was an accomplice and staged a fake murder so that witnesses would see a murder happen that Maggie would be on the hook for. And the person that got him to do all this was Furio, who has been pulled in by Ghetto because, of course, he knew all this. With the note, they put him at the crime scene, meaning the victim. But that plus Phoenix laying down his motive of stealing the CD and not the lottery tickets that would be worth more, gets him nailed pretty hard. Except they have no evidence that he did the murder. So, poo. But Gumshoe arrives. He's got a note on the bottle that Furio's printer on it, which doesn't super help since that's not that's not a murder weapon. But Phoenix decides to bluff anyway, saying that it's the murder weapon. It's the bottle of poison. And Furio bites because he's a dumbass. He goes, "No, that's not the bottle of poison. This is the bottle of poison," perfectly describing the bottle of poison. That has not been brought up in this case at all till right now. And he looks around going, "Why is everyone staring at me?" As Gadot's like, "You're an idiot, you're going to jail now." So yeah, he just digs a hole, continually digs his hole as he continues to bark at one thing after another. He gets blown up by Phoenix. He gets taken away. Maggie gets off the hook. And Viola says bye to him. Because, yeah, fuck you. And we end the episode with Maggie and Maya sharing the lunch Gumshoe offered because they could. Yeah. So, Tommy, how'd you feel about Recipe for Turnabout? If you're there.
I am.
Okay. How'd you feel about it?
All I can say is I completely forgot about this one until I started to watch the first one. And I was like, oh, right, this one.
Mm-hmm. That, I believe they cut out an entire location in person to talk to.
I was gonna say, and they cut out someone, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They cut out the guy who worked at, like, his tech company tech company he worked for, and the person you talk to at that tech company, because that's where you actually get the meeting information, not the medical papers. Amongst a dozen or so other changes that are noted on the Ace Attorney wiki. So this is one of the cases they took a hatchet to and truncated hard.
Which works.
Yeah. It's good. I enjoyed it, but like I said, it is the middle case. It is the not important case of Ace Attorney 3, so it's just fine. But next week, we get our one and only anime exclusive case that I believe we were just watching all the episodes of. Because I think it's a 4-parter.
I don't think that's right.
I will check. Nope, it's a 3-parter. Never mind. No, we're only watching 3 episodes next week because Northward Turnabout Express is just 3 episodes. And like I said, it's our one and only anime exclusive case that they didn't adapt it into a manga. Like a little short manga.
Also,
apparently.
I think that statement was wrong.
What?
Only watching 3 episodes.
Oh, right. No, we're also doing Turnabout Memories. Which I believe is the proper first case of Ace Attorney 3, if I recall correctly. But yeah, that is next week. Between now and then, Thursday might be a stream. Keep an eye on Twitter. It'll be something. Friday will be more Star Citizen. Saturday will be the something. I forgot to check the schedule, see if you put anything there.
Thing.
Yeah. And then next Sunday will be us doing the anime exclusive case and Turnabout Beginnings. So if you like what you see, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at that Filico. @TZone on Twitter gets you updates on live. Next special point Discord chat consists of link. Drop by, say hi, see you tomorrow or Thursday, folks, maybe, or Friday, one of those two.